Check 1 2. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Good Advice Podcast. Hey, we jumped right in today. Hey, it is a summer vacation time of year, and I'm enjoying a couple weeks off with the fam. So a little bit, we've dialed back a little bit on the editing and the production side of the podcast, and, we're just jumping right in. So all that to say, thanks for tuning into the show today. My name is Blake. I'm the host of the Good Advice Podcast, and this is the place where you can learn how to do business better. Hey, keeping that in mind, we don't really talk a lot of fluff on the podcast. We really just jump right in and talk about what actually works. So I have this episode, and then I have another one coming next week as well. Again, just stripped away from all the production side of things, just since I'm enjoying some vacation. But speaking of vacation, I thought I would talk just for a few minutes. These will be shorter episodes. I thought I'd talk for a few minutes about the entrepreneurial dream. And I have talked about this a few times on the podcast, and it's always just interesting to me what people think business ownership is like. It's always funny to me when people, they sort of dream, and it's not really that surprising. I mean, the grass is always greener, right? And so you're in a dead-end job, or you can't really seem to move on or move up or what have you. Or maybe you've been burned by a difficult boss, and you think about, I'm going to work for myself, and instead of just making a paycheck, all that money goes to me. In today's episode, I'm kind of just reflecting on this vacation, and this is the first real vacation I have taken in 6 years, since before COVID, actually. I guess now that I think about it, it would have been, actually, I think 7 years, maybe, because we didn't vacation right after COVID. So yeah, it would have been, I guess, before COVID. So I guess 7 years, which is a long time to not. I mean, you think about your own life, you might have certain vacations planned. When I was a kid, we always went to this place called Big Cedar in Branson, Missouri. And that's back when it was tiny and small and kind of quaint with these little cottages. And I think now it's owned by Bass Pro Shops, and it's, pretty much a full-on deal. It's a massive place now. But back then it was so much smaller. And so we'd go once or twice a year. And so we just always knew, around wintertime and around springtime, we'd be heading over to Big Cedar. So I haven't had that kind of regularity in my life. The demands of the business and having children and, late nights with screaming babies and, life moves quickly, and it's all good. It's all sweet. Like I don't look back at the last several years and do it with regret. I just, it's such an interesting and unique and hard to describe phase of life. And maybe you remember something like that when you had young kids yourself. So anywho, taking a vacation, really excited about it. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. And, speaking on this topic of the grass is always greener, I've come to recognize that people have an idea of running a business that is often very different from actually running a business. And so I'll just say some simple truths. Some simple truths about running a business is you will have times that you make significantly less money than you did at your old job. And you'll be surprised by that. You'll say, what the heck's going on? Where'd the money go? What's happening? And you look at your bank account and, a certain customer hasn't paid. They're 3 weeks late on their bill, or, you had a sale that you were for sure going to close, and maybe you strategized your whole quarter around this one big fish and this one big sale. And then, the sale didn't happen. Or maybe you have all these things that you needed to get done for your business, and you never really wondered at your old job how these things got done. And it turned out there were, a whole team of people who were each doing their own thing, but in your business, there is no team. It's just you. And so you have the website to update, or, what do you know? I'm no longer verified on Google Business, so let me get that fixed. Or, somebody sent an email through the website and maybe you didn't see it, or coffee meeting with another connection, and, all these things that you're managing and dealing with. And suddenly the 24 hours doesn't seem like enough in the day. And so you work not 40 hours a week, but 60 hours or 70 hours or 80 hours. But it's not all bad. It's actually very sweet because you are in control of your own destiny, and you are building something that you're wrapping your hands around. And I will say there's a day where that invoice does get paid, and you look at your bank account and you look at your bank account and you say, holy cow, like, I'm going to be rich. This is insane. Oh my gosh, I've never had so much money in my bank account. And then there'll be another time in your business where you look and you see red and you think, how am I going to make it to tomorrow? Business is full of swings. It's full of surprises. It's full of things that you never expected or counted on, but it's all good. It's all good. And, as I think about this vacation, I don't really think of it in terms of like, I'm a martyr for business. And that is something that I've made a point to talk about in the past is, being a business owner isn't martyrdom. It's not virtuous. And I have found that there are people in business who they think that that's what it is, that, oh, I got to earn my way. I got to prove it. I got to prove that I can do it. And there's nothing virtuous about it. It's not about building clout or your reputation. It's about finding something that works, that people will pay for, and that you feel rewarded doing. Uniquely, it's not a unique thing, but unique to me, I am doing something that I really enjoy and that I get paid well to do. And every day I'm thinking of how can I grow my impact, and I'm thinking of how can I help more people. And transparently, I'm thinking of how can I do it better. I'm almost always consumed with, okay, how well did I deliver on that? And how well did I do that? And, how well are we making that happen? And, I'm thinking about customers 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I'm sure there's a couple in there that I cringe thinking, oh my gosh, we could have done so much better of a job. And then I also think about businesses and customers where it's almost surprising how insane their growth has been. And it's been nice to sit back and say, hey, I'm glad I got to play a role in that. I'm glad I got to help with that. So all this to say, it's vacation time. And so wherever you are in your business, take a little time for yourself. But if you're in a season where you haven't vacationed, or you couldn't vacation, or, you're working those long hours, just know that it's a season like any other. And in my case, some seasons last years, some last days, and some last months. And, you just never really quite fully know what the next season will bring. But I've always kind of had the mentality of hands open and just see what happens. Candidly, just see what God will bring. So anyway, hey, thanks for tuning in to the show today. I really appreciate you. I'll see you later.